my TV in this room?
TV. That's the family TV, right?
That's the family TV. We like to all crowd around and watch and watch your show.
That's right.
This is a story about Sally Field, but it's not about how she charmed the nation as Gidget or about her years as the... No, it's too embarrassing. We won't even mention it. And no, it's not about her years with Burt Reynolds or about that infamous moment at the Oscars.
You like me. Hi, Sally, Diana. Yeah. They're ready for you on the set.
This is about a little girl who never felt a part of, who always felt apart from, who grew into a woman who uses that sense of insecurity to create herself. One of the screen's most accomplished actresses.
I told Diana I needed my contract. Had to be
She doesn't want to be on film ever.
At the age of 44, Sally Field is a ranking member of a small group of actresses, women who command over $1 million a picture, with years of memorable roles to her credit, from the schizophrenic Sybil to the suffering Malin of Steel Magnolias. Field is a perennial favorite of audiences, and she's about to be seen again in another powerful performance from the soon-to-be-released Not Without My Daughter.
I don't know how to say this to you. We're not going back. We're staying here.
What?
I want us to live in Iran.
No. Yeah, I've never gotten hung up in being, a celebrity or being a movie star because I feel like nothing.
Surprising words from a highly decorated professional who has an Emmy and 2 Oscars to her credit. Incurably shy, she's fighting to be heard in a male-dominated business. We talked, and during filming had to whisper on the Hollywood set of Soap Dish, a comedy where Field is playing the glamorous leading lady of a fictional TV soap opera.
And so you played the girl who started as America's Sweetheart.
I play the girl who's been on the show forever. And I'm now aging.
After 25 years in front of the cameras, Sally Field has entered a sparse area for women. Only about 13% of Hollywood's lead roles are female, and most of those go to women under 40. So Field has been fighting back by establishing her own development company.
Do you work here?
No.
Oh. Would you like a job?
I own the place.
Her latest producing project, shooting in California's wine country, is called Dine Young.
This young, beautiful woman is my employer.
Don't you ever forget it. Quite all right. Please, not in public.
She chose the director, Joel Schumacher, and the star, Julia Roberts.
Julia tells Sally Field that she's thin in the desperate hope that Sally will be flattered and not fire her on the spot.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
She's also actively developing other film projects that prominently feature women.
The only reason I ever got into development was to try to find projects for myself. And then the company evolved into finding projects that I wasn't in. But I never went into any of that because I wanted to help women in film or anything. Just really, bottom line is that I love to act, and that's what I do. Mm-hmm. And just trying to find ways that I can do it.
Is it as bad for women in film as the general public hears about in newspapers and magazine articles?
Some days I get up and say, hey, they're here. Girls, you just got to get out there. You got to make sure you're the best. And we're all getting better, and women are getting stronger and all of that. And then some days I lay down and go, it's not fair, it's not fair. It's nothing for women, and it's not fair. And if I were a man, you know, I have my moments. If I were a man, and then I think probably that's life, you know. I know it, the pragmatic side of it knows that it gets down to dollars and cents. That women don't bring in as much money.
But Sally Field's struggles with Hollywood pale in comparison to her internal battles. The child of divorced parents, she recalls that an almost crippling sense of insecurity reaches back into her earliest memories.
Some part of my childhood, I felt I didn't belong. And maybe I've kind of had this feeling, part of me, and then part of me feels confident and strong and can conquer that other side. It sounds like Sybil, actually. But, you know, the feeling of knocking on the door, let me in.
After years of knocking on doors, trying to overcome a TV actress stereotype, her perseverance finally paid off. In 1976, she landed the role of a small-town floozy in the film Stay Hungry, and soon thereafter, the lead in the made-for-television film Sybil. That role not only garnered Field critical acclaim, but an Emmy as well.
The way it's usually written is that you had to claw and scratch your way to get to the place you are now. Did you have to?
I never felt I ever clawed my way anywhere. When I came in to read for Bob Rafelson for Stay Hungry, I mean, I'm not sure, but I think the windows blew out of the room because I was so angry. And the character that was this little wimpy little girl rode in on this cloud of anger, you know, that just,
Do you think that you had the blindness, the fury, because you were a single mother, you were alone, you had to make this work?
There was a part of me that was bubbling up that I was choosing not to feel, otherwise I probably would have run stark raving mad down the street. That, oh my God, I have these two children and nobody's supporting them but me.
Let's go.
Okay, you guys want to stay here?
Field's first marriage ended in 1973, and she found herself raising her two sons, Peter and Eli, on her own.
That police car, you're taking me to jail! No!
In 1980, Sally Field finally struck gold.
I didn't know that Norma Ray was going to be anything. It was going to be a little film and that no one would know or care.
In this scene from Norma Ray, Field actually broke an actor's ribs. Her performance riveted audiences and the Academy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Sally Field.
I read a story once that Jane Fonda wrote you a letter after Norma Ray.
And she wrote me this lovely letter that said how moved she was by the film and she would love to have lunch with me. And I had to write her back and said, I'm sorry, I can't.
Even though you had just done this very powerful film about a woman who was anything but shy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. But that was that was acting. This was real life. And the idea of sitting across the table from Jane and chatting, I thought I would just die, you know.
All right, we're going to get this mysterious.
I feel my back starting.
For the most part, she's learned to live with the feelings of insecurity that have plagued her. Her life is more settled now. In 1986, she married producer Alan Greisman. And with the birth of her son, Sam, 2 years ago, she became a mom all over again.
Mark? Action, Sally. Why do you have...
David? I realize I'm not a young woman. However, could you please point out to our new costume designer, whose name I don't quite have yet, Tony, that I don't feel quite right in a turban. What I feel like is Gloria Watson.
Some days I feel I don't care. I don't know whether I'm old, I don't know whether I'm young, I don't care. And then other days I care a lot. I know there's a lot of fabulously successful and gorgeous, attractive and stupendous women in their 50s. I just didn't think I was going to be one of them.
When you sit in this room and look out at this production, the big, expensive Hollywood production, and if this door is shut and there aren't two cameras and a reporter in here, do you feel like I've arrived, I've done okay?
No.
No.
You never feel you arrived. You always feel like you're treading water.
That is also vintage Field. She's never really sure of herself or where she's going. But for a little girl who always felt like she was on the outside looking in, she's never doubted her abilities to make movie magic.
No, I won't stay here. You can't keep me.
Now, you listen to me. You're in my country now. You're my wife. You do as I say. You understand me? We're staying here.
She's turned her insecurities into assets. If she hadn't, she might still be the Flying Nun. Okay, we said we wouldn't, but we had to mention it at least once.